Long before television and film warranted for character appeal and drama, mental illnesses have always been a part of human nature. Of course, before the time of film, any real perception of mental illness was personally crafted, as unless you were exposed to somebody mentally ill or did the research, there wasn't really much portrayal of mental health to the masses. Since addressing mental illness was far from a norm, people often, and still do, perceive it as hypersensitivity, a disgrace, or something just flat out evil. With the creation of the film and television industries, people began to try and portray the many mental illnesses that exist, which begs the question, are the portrayals of mental health in media truly accurate? For the sake of structure, let's begin with which portrayals aren't working and make our way into what is. The first film that we're going to talk about is The Visit. In this film, two young siblings are sent to spend time with their grandparents. Sounds pleasant enough. Perhaps you might expect some violence if you tell grandma you're not hungry, but that's not the case. The grandparents are revealed to be psychiatric inmates that killed the children's grandparents and pretended to be them. Why? For the sake of a twist. This movie just went for the low-hanging fruit and demonized mental illness, and that's why it's on the bad list. Next up, the stereotypical charming psychopath. Exhibit Negan.
It looks like I'm going to be here for a while, awaiting your fearless leader's return. And if you'd like, I think it would be enjoyable to screw your brains out. I mean, if, you're agreeable to it.
Loki.
How will your friends have time for me when they're so busy fighting you?
Walter White.
Say my name. Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
All are ultimately bad people who have hurt or even killed others, yet are portrayed in a way to get sympathy from the audiences. Whether it be Walter White's family and sad medical history, to Loki having been adopted and trying to have a relationship with his brother, or Negan and his love for a bat. This mixing of good and bad traits, for whatever reason, is not only illogical but also wrong, as it could lead to people to thinking that they can get away with whatever they please and it's okay because they're charming.
Stay out of my territory.
In some instances, it can be hard to fully portray a mental illness, especially in shorter length things, such as a sitcom. This can be seen in the way that The Sweet Life and Full House tackle eating disorders. In both shows, a female character wants to look pretty like the other girls, so they stop eating in hopes that they will see themselves as pretty. Eventually, a parental figure finds out and tells them that they're pretty, and suddenly they're alright.
Look, girls, this is ridiculous. Now, if you want one man's opinion, I think you are both two very beautiful young women.
You really think so?
Absolutely.
This is bad, as in real life it can take years and many people's help to truly get over an eating disorder. This can be detrimental and lead to the public thinking that the disorders are far less serious and make people with the actual disorders feel worse, as they can't fix themselves that easily. The last on the bad list is Girl Interrupted. This film has earned its place here because it portrays mental illness as something trendy. While some parts of patient treatment are portrayed accurately, the trope that a mental ward is like a sorority where everybody is a little bit different but they can all get along and protect each other is ridiculous, and can lead to people downplaying the limitations that come with some mental illnesses and the social limitations that come along with that. As for what does work, a prime example is the film A Beautiful Mind, which focuses on the mathematician John Nash and his struggles of differentiating fiction from reality due to his schizophrenia. In the film, John comes to learn one of his closest friends and his friend's secret mission, code breaking for the United States in the Cold War, were both entirely fictional. Of course, there's some exaggeration, but overall the portrayal of the illness and treatment and lifelong coping process were extremely accurate. Another film that really does mental disorder justice is Black Swan. In this film, a woman's practicing to be in a Swan Lake recital when she faces a new competitor that pushes her buttons and stresses her out. This leads to her having immense OCD episodes where she not only practices strenuously, but carves a swan into her skin to feel better for the role. This need to carve into her skin compulsively for the show she's obsessed with is very mirroring of reality and how OCD affects people, even harming themselves for their compulsion. Overall, this film really portrays her descent into her mental disorders very well and realistically. A newer TV show that's been getting mental disorders correctly is This Is Us. Not only has the show portrayed body image disorders as a long, difficult process to fix, but they've also shown anxiety disorder very well through the character of Randall. At the time in his life where the show picks up, more and more situations unfold on Randall, resulting in massive amounts of stress. Since he neglects getting treatment, he eventually succumbs to a full-blown anxiety attack, paralyzing him for an extended period of time, and leaving him to just sit and feel powerless until he's aided. This portrayal of anxiety is spot on and shows how it builds and develops over time rather than just simple nerves, which really can educate an audience. Lastly, despite its age, the film Sunset Boulevard does a great job of portraying mental illness through the character Norma Desmond. At the start of the film, she's portrayed as reclusive and self-centered, which has clearly had an effect on her mental well-being. However, by the end of the film, she's become so obsessed with the idea of being the star that she once was that she kills for it and completely descends from theatrical HPD into complete fiction, seeing the world as a film. While of course is exaggerated, and it is found that those who recluse themselves tend to lose grip on reality easier than social, news-watching people. In the end, the verdict really is that yes, some people use mental illness in film to be trendy or a plot device. However, overall, media is becoming better at realistic portrayal and education, which in turn is also raising awareness. We can only hope they continue this trend of growing realism and not lean too deep into their flair for drama.